brave face, but the fact is that it's a sad occasion. We are not afraid. No, the mood here is more one of barely restrained anger. Now, it is my turn to bid bye to my cellmates and fellow university students. I thank them for their friendship and solidarity. I tell them that I'm going to miss them. I tell them that I wish and hope they are released. Not much point in all of us ending up in committee maximum. We are so immersed in our fare thee well that we do not notice that the askari for the night in charge of our block is standing outside. He begins to bang on the iron doors in the windows to indicate that it's sleep time, 9 o'clock. I ignore him for some reason and continue talking. This is a special moment for me. I don't know if I'll ever see these faces ever again, and that is why at this point, the strictures of an askari appear petty and somewhat irrelevant. The warder is furious when I impatiently wave him off. In a very dark mood, pregnant with menace, he promises that utaona cha mtema kuni asubuhi, you will see what will happen to you in the morning. Sleep does not come easily that night. Tossing and turning, I read the novel by Italo Calvino that Father Dundas from the St. Paul Cathedral of Nairobi University brought me the other day when he came to visit me in prison. Soon, dawn is here. We hear the usual bells, whistles, and matchy sounds that accompany a shift change as the night crew of prison warders wait to be relieved. We are all set to cover a corruption of the word cover-up, a holdover colonial procedure where prisoners are required to squat in rows of 5 with their hands on the shoulders of the person in front of them. When the doors of our cell block are swung open, the night askari points at me with his rungu. Ni nongwe huyu, macho ine huyu, ni kichwa ngumu sana. In other words, he's the stupid fool. This boy in glasses is very stubborn. I'm roughly bundled out with my threadbare blankets. Outside, the entire night shift waits in ambush, rungus drawn, batons drawn. It's a frightening scene. Over the last 2 months, I've seen inmates clobbered to within an inch of their beleaguered lives, and I have no illusions that I'll be spared the same royal treatment. I brace myself for the worst. It turns out that the duty officer is none other than Muraya, an arrogant university graduate who looks down on everybody and has a special content reserved for the 70 or so university students, the one lecturer, Maina wa Kenyati, and the famous Pambana prisoner, the late Wang'ondu Kariuki. For some weird reason, I had hit it off with Officer Muraya almost from the day I was flung into cell number 19 on the 7th of August, 1982. He has been told that there's a prisoner who should be taught a lesson. He's kind of surprised that it is me because by and large I've avoided any unnecessary confrontation in prison with the authorities so far. He asks me if I know what he's capable of doing. I look at him in silence. He says that it just takes a second for him to snap his fingers and his men will start working on me. I tell him to do whatever he wants. He is shocked at my impudence. A few 10 seconds. One of the senior sergeants, clipboard in tow, comes forward and whispers something in Muraya's ears. Almost with relief, he then turns to me. You're lucky. You're going to court this morning. Pray that you do not come back to industrial area. I tell you, we'll beat you thoroughly. Then askari who fingered me squirms with bitter disappointment, almost as if he has been swindled out of a multi-million Kenya charity sweepstake jackpot. Fast forward through the bumpy ride in the crowded prison van via Thika Road back to the city. Fast forward past the prison cells in the basement. Of the Nairobi law courts. I'm sitting in my handcuffs in the front row of court number 5. It is packed, full of relatives, friends, comrades, local and foreign journalists, hordes and hordes of plainclothes police officers. Here's my younger sister, Janet, who had just finished Form 6 at Coast Girls in downtown Mombasa. She's flipping through a family album. In spite of all this, I'm calm. I'm not scared. I'm not afraid. I know that I'm going to prison, and this fact does not scare me. In fact, I watch with amusement the scared looks of my family members and supporters. You'd think that it was them who were waiting the harsh judgment. My sister, Janet, shows me pictures of my mother, Jennifer, who died 2 years previously at the age of 40 from a botched mastectomy. My grandmothers, Doris Awiti and Trufosa, my grandfathers, Isayo Low and Wandolo, and my siblings, especially my 2 kid sisters, Akini and Awar, 6 and 4 respectively. My father, Richard Achwal Olo, chose not to come. He almost lost his job fighting vainly for my release between August and October, when I was finally committed to trial. My uncle, who was shocked and disappointed the previous week because I decided to fire Otieno Kwach as my lawyer and conduct my own defense because Kwach was insisting I plead guilty for a crime I did not commit, and I refused, is nevertheless in the courtroom with his usual warm smile and generous spirit. My auntie Joyce, who went to school and was a deskmate and close friend with Joyce Alwach, yes, the very same magistrate who is trying me, is on hand as well to witness her classmate, Jail, her nephew. I can also see Edward Rina and Andrew Kuria, the 2 Nation and Standard dedicated and diligent reporters who have courageously told the truth about my case and defense over the last few weeks. And of course, on the other side, gloating, representing the repressive neo-colonial state are Superintendent Githiri, who interrogated me at the CID offices located at the Nairobi railway station. Senior State Sureta Chana, currently a lawyer for victims at the ICC. She's the one who prosecuted me. But back then, a vicious and vindictive prosecutor. Mwanzia, the OCS from Railway Police Station, who had first blown my arrest way out of proportion by radioing Nairobi that I was one of the biggest dissidents in the country, when in truth I was a mere 22-year-old first-year university student whose only crime was to be found in possession of a handwritten draft of an essay calling on Kenyan students and youth to participate in the struggle for democracy, justice, freedom, and sustainable development. The end comes suddenly. In a dazzling flash, a court official orders all of us to stand up. Senior resident magistrate Alwach, and Alwach, of course, Lady Alwach, is now a justice at the ICC. She's the one who jailed me. Senior resident magistrate Alwach slouches in, almost furtively. I'm watching her face and I see pain and discomfort. With the predetermined outcome that we all know about, the magistrate rushes through the prepared script that masquerades as her ruling and judgment. I'm of course guilty as hell, although she does not quite put it that way. A named name, she says. I said terrible things about the Kenya government. I divided Kenyans into 2 groups, the ones who were oppressed on the one hand and the oppressors on the other. I called on Kenyan youth to rise up. The rest she refused to disclose. So explosive are the contents she implies. I was charged with 3 counts of sedition, writing